What up, what up, what up? Hey, everybody, hope you're doing well. Hey, I just want to let you know, I know everybody can't always support and donate to the podcast, but hey, if you can do a one-time donation, I put up a Buy Me a Coffee link in this description of the podcast. So if you go to the description of the podcast, it'll be at the bottom, and you can just go to that link, and you can buy me a cup of coffee, or two if you want. And that would just help support the show, and I can wake up a little bit more and bring you more info. So thanks for listening to the podcast. If you can donate, that would be much appreciated. And let's get on to the show. Welcome back to Lockdown Universe, home of the bizarre, peculiar, and unheard of stories of UFO legend and lore. So, today we can talk about our boy Elon Musk. He just did a show on SNL, talked about Dogecoin, talked about sending people to Mars and to the moon and everywhere else. They even did a sketch about him sending someone to Mars. And then their head exploded when they opened up their helmet. It was a comedy sketch. Nonetheless, if you're a follower of Elon Musk and you like sci-fi and you like aliens and you're here, you gotta be interested in his mission. You got to be interested in what he's accomplishing and what he's trying to do. Well, his goal is to send humans to Mars to colonize it, to visit. And he has a timeline. He has a focus. They have a plan. They have people interested. They're paying for it already. They're prepaying their flight positions. And it's very interesting because, you can liken this to like the breakaway civilizations that Alex Jones and all these other ufologists and conspiracy theorists talk about. These breakaway civilizations, these very super, ultra, uber rich that are breaking away from Earth and have been doing it since 1950s. Well, now it's becoming just public, right? So you got Elon talking about we're going to populate Mars, we're going to, terraform it, we're going to make it habitable. We're going to make the atmosphere livable. And they've already found water on Mars. And they've already found evidence of some oxygen and some leftover remnants of civilizations and things like that there. So we know that it was habitable at one point. But right now it's not very habitable. Nonetheless, Elon has plans to get people to Mars and habit it. So, would you go to Mars? Would you hop on a plane or spaceship and go live there? Well, it's going to take a little bit more than just doing that, right? We're going to have to terraform it. We're going to have to make it habitable. We're going to have to build structures, living structures, domes. And there was a NASA competition where they had students from MIT and Stanford and all over the place, all different colleges competing in this dome building competition. This was years ago because the plan was to have some sort of habit up there for humans to do studies, to live there for 6 months or whatever the case was. And I mean, part of that idea kind of went into that movie, The Martian, where they had Matt Damon living there for a while on Mars. And so this has been in the works, right? Whether it's been on NASA's side or Elon's side, this has been in the works for quite a while. The question is, how will this play into exopolitics? Because exopolitics is the politics of interplanetary interests, right? So you have politics on planet Earth, you have exopolitics out in the galaxy, right? Out in the solar system. So how will this play? Is it going to be, it's going to cause problems, or at least some interest will become, possibly compromised. So you might have alien interests that might be compromised by us trying to do this. You might have human interests compromised because we're trying to do this. The aliens, whichever alien species has been shooting down some of our military craft and weaponry testing in the past decades already has the technology to do this. We've had multiple military officials come out and say, we've had UFOs come out, laser blast our missiles out of the sky, laser blast our rockets out of the sky. And so you have these species that can do this. And if they've already done that, and we have Elon Musk, who's supposed to be a private, company with SpaceX, going up there and doing his thing, and you got Jeff Bezos doing his thing, it's going to be challenging, right? Either A, Musk and Bezos already have connections within NASA, and they're already informed about an alien presence and an alien threat, and have gotten approval to go and do this, right? Because let's face it, the government isn't just going to let Musk go up there and do whatever he wants, right? The government's going to have their hands in it. They got their hands in everything. So they either give him approval or give him a warning. One way or another, Musk knows more than just, we're going to go up there and we're not going to have any issues. We're not going to encounter any aliens. He has to know already that there's something up there, because the government had to give him a forewarning. They had to. There's no way they could just let him go up there and, free willy-nilly it and, not warn him. I mean, that would just be inhuman. Now, has the government in the past been inhuman? Absolutely, right? We've got the Tunguska experiment and all kinds of other experiments, but nonetheless, you would hope that they would let him know something. So, hopefully they gave him a heads up. So, given that, Musk must know something. Yet he's still willing to go to Mars. So, what happens when they go to Mars and you have these millionaires, billionaires, well, they're probably all billionaires, going up there and doing their little trips or whatever, and they've signed their non-disclosure agreements. And what's going to happen when they run into little green men, tall whites, reptilians, or any other alien species that we have yet to really discover and discuss? What's going to happen? Is it going to be a ship that comes down and just talks to them and says, hey, welcome to Mars. Come over to our, Mai Tai bar and have a drink. Or is it going to be, hey, get the hell out of here, like it happened up on the moon with, Buzz Aldrin, Neil Armstrong, and Michael Collins, right? They saw all these ships. They got this warning, basically, not to come back. And that's why we haven't been back for decades. On a manned mission, anyway. So, why is it all of a sudden now Mars is an option? Right? So, this is going to be tricky. It's going to be very interesting. I think we're going to have some disinformation, maybe information come out. Because once you start having private individuals going up there, even if they sign non-disclosure agreements, they're going to tell their family members, they're going to tell their sons and daughters, brothers and sisters, something, right? They're going to say something. Whether it's, hey, this non-disclosure agreement had, if you see aliens up on Mars, don't talk about it. They'll either say that if they didn't see anything, or they're going to tell them there's more than just us out there once they start seeing, Red Martian or, the Martian Manhunter or whoever. They're going to say something. There's no way that people can keep quiet. And that's why we have all these government whistleblowers coming out. Because there's lots of people who are aware of what's happening. Lots of people who know what the government's done. And lots of people who they can't keep their mouth shut anymore. They've seen too much. They want to let people know what's going on. And they want to spread the information before they die. They want humans to know. They don't want to be the only ones that know. And I think that's brave. I think that's great. And I think it's important. And I think that they're true Americans. True Americans. Regardless of whatever NDA they signed, they're true Americans. Because they're sharing information that should be shared. Freedom of speech, freedom of knowledge is the only way that we're going to be able to progress as a society. So, that being said, Muskie's sending up everybody to Mars. Will there be a colony? there will be eventually a colony there. There will be. There's no doubt. Now, will there be, how big will this colony get? Will it become another Earth? Will they be able to scientifically terraform this thing, even to become something similar to Earth, where they have oceans again, where they have, greenery again, grass, and are able to self-sustain again? It's totally possible, but I guess the question is, why hasn't another species yet done that? If it was possible, you would think they would have, yet they haven't. So either they're aware that it's just a dead planet, these other species, or it's just not valuable enough for them to do it. So the real question is, how long is a habitable Mars going to last? And do we have the technology to really terraform it? And yes, Musk does have the Boring Company. If you haven't heard of the Boring Company, it's not just an uninteresting company. It's called the Boring Company because they have boring machines that create tunnels underground, right? So Musk could bring boring machines up there, bore underneath the ground of Mars, and create a livable area underneath the surface. Now, according to some whistleblowers, there already are aliens underneath Mars in tunnels, living and having a society. So that is already a possibility. That's already apparently there. Now, what happens if they don't know that, right? And they haven't been given the information. They just go up there and they start boring, tunnels, and they just bore right into another society that's, hundreds of miles wide, and they smash into their capital. Their whole boring machine just smashes through the top surface right into their capital, and they come out with their spacecraft and their battlecraft and just annihilate a bunch of billionaires. That could be a problem, right? So that's why I believe that he has to know something. He has to have been given some information from the government that these societies are either up there, have been there in the past, and they were wiped out. In that CIA document, you can look it up, Mars Exploration 1984, done by none other than Joseph McMoneagle, remote viewer number 1 in the remote viewing project, Project Stargate, Project Scan 8, Grill Flame, Center Lane, talked about and wrote about, and you can look up that document on the CIA Reading Room. Just go to ciareadingroom.gov, and you'll be able to type in Mars Exploration 1984, and you'll know that there was a Mars civilization there approximately 1 million years ago. They were wiped out due to a environmental catastrophe, cataclysm. That's why it's the red planet now. That's what was reported in that document. So whether it was, a war or an environmental disaster, that it was given, the information was given to Joseph McMoneagle that it was an environmental disaster, which I think is why so many aliens come down and say, you need to take care of Earth, because they know that other civilizations have lost their planets due to environmental disasters. So, either way, Mars may or may not be habitable at all. Obviously it hasn't been habitable or wasn't habitable 1 million years ago as the civilization lost the planet and lost their lives. So, not to go off on a tangent, but that could have been where the Ark story of the Bible came from. Because in that Mars exploration, Joseph McMoneagle got information that they started going off planet, that there was a portion of their civilization that left the planet looking for another habitable planet to live on. Now, 1 million years ago, Earth should have been completely habitable, right? 56 million years ago, or whatever the case was, dinosaurs were here. So it should have been perfectly habitable 1 million years ago. So the story of the Ark, where multiple animals were on the ship, multiple beings were on the ship. Could have been the Martian civilization breaking away, trying to find another planet to habitate, and landing on Earth with their animals, and finding a place to live. Could we actually be Martian descendants? It's possible. Wouldn't it be interesting if we were? And now we're trying to go back. Back to the planet we destroyed. That would be truly fascinating. I don't know as if that's the case. Because if that was the case, you would think we would have the memories of living there. You know, our descendants would have handed them down. Their technology would have been able to have been handed down. Is it possible that we could have had some major destruction from our civilization and then been rebuilt somehow, biologically? It seems unlikely, right? So it seems unlikely that we are Martian descendants, but it's possible. He did say, Joseph McMonagle did say that the Martians, 1 million years ago, were about 7 foot to 10 foot tall. If they did come to Earth, Earth could have theoretically a different gravity and could have kind of shrunk us over 1 million years. That's possible. But again, I don't think that's probably the case. I think it's less likely the case. But it's an interesting theory to think about, just because McMonagle talked about them leaving the planet on these ships in search of a place to live, and why not Earth, the closest planet to Mars? I mean, it's totally the most logical explanation. But yet I just still don't believe it, because, a lot of things just would have to line up for that to make sense, and it just doesn't seem like it makes sense. But I brought it up because it's interesting and it's related to Musk going to Mars, and I just think that it's going to be fascinating to see what happens in the future. Musk is also talking about bringing Dogecoin to Mars, which I think is interesting. If you guys aren't aware, he's calling this next rocket ship that's going up in, I believe, 2022, Doge 1. So it's going to be the first cryptocurrency to go into outer space. So he's starting this crypto revolution where he's bringing cryptocurrency to another planet. So now we're going to have interplanetary transactions. Good luck on taxing that, huh? So that'll be interesting. But yeah, that's just the fascinating thing about this whole Mars exploration, is that there's so many different facets. Musk has multiple companies with which to accomplish this. And I think Musk is really underestimated by a lot of people. Every single one of his companies is easily translatable to Mars. You've got the Starlink program. Well, all of those satellites can transmit information towards Mars now and be received by Earth, right? So we've got thousands of satellites orbiting Earth in the Starlink program. If you haven't seen them in the night sky, it's truly fantastic. Hopefully you get a chance to see them as they go one by one over your town. It's an amazing sight. I've seen it myself. And if you haven't, maybe you can Google or YouTube it. It's like awe-inspiring. He has the Neuralink program, with which people are going to be able to control things with the thoughts of their mind. So that's going to be directly translatable, right? He's got the boring company, so that they can bore tunnels into Mars. And then, of course, he's got SpaceX, with which they can get to Mars. And then they have Tesla, with which they can use electronic vehicles to transport around Mars. So literally, this guy almost has every company with which to make another civilization on another planet. The only thing he really needs is a company to terraform. And I might be missing something. Maybe he has one of those companies, or maybe he has interests in one of those companies, but that's all he needs. He needs a terraforming company. And that's it. And maybe he doesn't need one because maybe they've got one on the books and partnershiped up where they can terraform this planet and have it ready to go. So I'll end it here. I think it's going to be something that's going to be fascinating. It's going to be interesting to watch. It's going to be interesting to theorize on. And really, Musk is kind of our connection to outer space, not going through NASA, right? He is the only person with which we really have a public connection to. We can track his history. We can track what he's done. It's public knowledge, at least some of it. NASA is a closed book with disinformation for years and decades and probably maybe even centuries into the future. But Musk, hopefully, will be kind of our portioned out piece of information, if you will. Even he probably won't give us 100% of information that he knows, but he'll give us more information than NASA will, I think. So nonetheless, guys, I hope you're taking care of your spiritual, physical, and emotional health, following through on your hobbies and goals and your dreams, and as always, continue to question the universe around you. Until next time, Lockdown Universe out.